everyone, I'm Captain Logan.
And I'm Dan.
And it's time once again
to recommend things.
Dan. You almost created a theme song to recommend things. What do you recommend today?
Well, I'm going to recommend something that's not particularly geeky, I suppose.
Faux pas.
At the risk of recommending yet another Star Wars thing, because I kind of have my academic pursuits in Star Wars right now. I'm going to recommend something for my academic pursuits. I've been reading this for one of my classes, but I've been doing extra reading that we haven't been assigned because I just found it to be really interesting, and it's really cheap, and I figure I'd recommend it for people that are interested in the same sort of thing. I don't know if it'll appeal to the audience of the channel, but I figure I'd talk about it anyway.
Sure.
This is a book, it's a collection of American political and constitutional thought. This covers the origins of the country through the Civil War period, so like when the Puritans settled in America all the way up until, the Civil War. It's a collection of various writings from people that have been influential on not just the government and structure of American society, but the society itself. We're reading stuff with the Puritans right now in my class, but there's also stuff from James Madison. John Locke is in there, Montesquieu, like all the people who influenced early American society. Their writings are in here, and it's very interesting because it's not just like government documents that create institutions. It's like letters and speeches. Some of them are very personal, so it's just a very interesting and intimate look at some of the people that contributed to creating the society we live in. And I'm very interested in those sort of things. And I think it would do a lot of people some good to just kind of sit down and maybe read some of these things and realize why the society you live in is the way it is, and whether or not you agree with things that are being done. Because you kind of read the ideas that the country had, or even around the Puritan times, and like it's weirdly similar. Like America was America even before it was America, and it's still very much like the kind of society that the Puritans created when they came here. And even the division between the North and the South culturally was there when the people touched down on Plymouth Rock, and then establishing the Virginia colony on the East Coast in the more southern region. So I don't know, it's a very fascinating read, and the reason I'm going to recommend this, I mean, you can find a lot of this stuff anywhere, like the Second Treatise on Government by John Locke is here, A Spirit of the Laws by Montesquieu is in here, and you can find those individual volumes, but this is like $30 for a book this big. It's a very good deal. So if you're at all interested in political thought, philosophy that influenced the United States, I'd highly recommend it. And it's cool because it has Benjamin Franklin's Join or Die cartoon on it from the Pennsylvania Gazette. I love that image. It's really cool. So, I don't know. I don't know if anyone will be, enticed to buy this because, this is a geeky channel we do here, but I figured I'd talk about it nonetheless because I think that's kind of stuff's cool.
Oh, no, you may be surprised to know, Dan, that this is not the first time a textbook has been recommended.
Oh, okay.
Or something like a textbook is very. Yeah, I wish I'd known that it was supposed to be academic day on recommends, and I would have picked something totally different, Dan. Because mine is not. But
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, that's wonderful. What Ben Franklin stuff is in there?
Oh, there's a ton of stuff. I mean, I haven't really gotten to it.
Is any of the autobiography there, or is it other stuff?
There's stuff from every founding father that you could think of in here, like Hamilton, Jefferson, the two Adams brothers, all of those guys. Especially Madison. Like, Madison was the main architect of the Constitution, so I love reading his stuff. But, I'll look through the table of contents here and try to find something offhand here if I can. Of course, Washington's in here, too. I'm not seeing any off the top of my head, but the table of contents is like 7 pages long, so I won't bore you.
Oh, no, that's totally cool. I was just curious if you do right off, yeah.
Yeah, but there's definitely some Franklin writings in there, and I'm just excited to get through it. My teacher has assigned us, section readings in it, but I just kind of have been reading it from cover to cover thus far, so it's really cool.
No, I appreciate that you want to bring up stuff like that, Dan, because, I mean, obviously not going to be clickbait, But the point, the point of talking about a thing like that on a channel like ours is that we, obviously what we cover is geeky pop culture stuff, but I always like to encourage people to read, and I always like to encourage people to remember that there is fascinating literature that is worth reading that informs the pop culture stuff that you look at, and how much of that stuff, both classical fiction and nonfiction literature, is constantly being brought up in many of the things we talk about on a regular basis, and informing that stuff. It's good to read A Tale of Two Cities when you watch Wrath of Khan. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, especially some of the superhero stuff that comments on, like, I mean, especially if you look at a lot of the, themes that of division that are in our society right now. You can go to this and kind of examine the origins of it. That you see in fiction, like with, Captain America, Winter Soldier is one of the things that, comes to mind at the moment, the liberty versus security argument, and that goes all the way back to like the Puritans, and like there's a section in there that I was reading about a Frenchman who came to America, and there's an excerpt from his book in here, not the entire thing, because his book on democracy in America is about as thick as this textbook, but there's excerpts from it, and he talks about like the Puritans. They would sniff out potential infringement on their liberty by the governing authorities, and he was like, they're so obsessed with like freedom that like even if the government wants to help them, like, no, go away, leave me alone. He thought it was very funny because to a Frenchman, like, that was sort of not something they thought about. But the Puritans, like, their religious ideology was all about the decentralization of power, and that's why the papacy thought them to be so dangerous, because they were rebellious and wanted to self-govern their churches and choose their religious leaders. So even like examining the claim that people say this is a Christian nation, and people dispute that, and they say like, no, it's not. Well, it's not officially. Like, the country, it doesn't have Christianity as its religion, but Protestantism was highly influential in ideas that created the American government in the first place. So examining all of those arguments, I think, is really interesting going back, and it's been highly educational for me. It's very cool.
Dan, we have such a lag right now that sometimes when you're talking, your voice isn't matching your face, which I've never seen happen on Skype. It's fantastic. So just in case anyone's wondering, not a YouTube glitch. That's happening in real time right now. Dan, today I'm going to recommend something that is not scholarly at all. Today I'm going to recommend. I don't think I recommended this. I probably talked about it someplace or shown it off before, and a lot of you will be familiar with this, but I just thought that I would mention it in case people haven't seen it, and just show you one in case you haven't seen one. Here is my Turtle Van box set of the original '87 cartoon.
That's awesome. I need to get my hands on that. I want to watch through that series again at some point.
I bought this for my wife for Christmas a couple of years ago because she still adores the series, and somehow or rather the passage of time and her growing up has not in any way whatsoever affected her love for the show like it has a lot of the people. It's good. Like, it doesn't hold up, but it's still kind of fun to go back and watch. And sometimes the like some of the satire and humor and stuff is still pretty darn funny. And but yeah, the thing is, when we were kids, we took this show, or at least I did, we took this show more seriously than it was intended to be, and we filled in the blanks kind of just like we did with Power Rangers. And then you grow up and you realize, oh, there's not any actual like storytelling going on in the show a lot of the time, and there's not really it's not really the depth of characterization that I thought I was somehow experiencing, because I guess I decided that it was more serious than it really is, because A, I watched the 1990 movie, and B, the action figures look like the comic book characters as opposed to the characters in this show that are much more jovial and are permanently have smiles attached to their faces. So anyway, this is neat because, of course, it's the entire show, and prior to this, it was very difficult to get the whole show. It was difficult to even tell like which volumes to buy and in what order and stuff, because Turtles has been notorious for this going back, and I don't think it has really been resolved with the new show, Dan, where they're still releasing that in, like, volumes as opposed to seasons, and we need to stop doing that with cartoon shows. Just put out a whole season. Why are we doing that? And I know why we're doing that, but don't do that. And anyway, so Ninja Turtles, like before this came out, I had a couple friends that had the whole show, and I would look at it on their shelf, and it was just awkward. The volume numbers and the way, and the 03 show, nightmarish to try to collect. It was just obnoxious the way they released that. And now you can buy the entire thing of the 87 show in the Turtle Van box set. I love it when people come over and look at this where they say, I had one of those when I was a kid. I was like, no, get closer. No, you didn't. And then they realize that this is a box set of DVDs. So the DVDs in here, first of all, this is just a really cool, efficient, compact way to put this together. It's the DVDs are nestled nicely inside, and it's easy to keep them together, and I really like that about it. The discs are the exact same release as the old box sets, just all put in the van, and if except that they've been relabeled so that it gives you a disc number going all the way up, so it's not like season 1 disc 1 and then season 2 disc 1. It gives you disc numbers for this as a set. So like season 5, here's disc 14. That's really nice of them. I would not have expected that, and so I think that's really cool, because how easy would it have been to just take all the discs from the old sets and just repackage it this way.
Right, yeah,
it's really cool they didn't do it that way. I like that a lot. So I don't know. It's obviously it's a weird thing to try to put on a shelf, because it's kind of bulky and awkwardly shaped. So I guess that's somewhat of a complaint. But what do you want to do? It's a Turtle Van. It's awesome. The only thing that would have been cooler would be a Technodrome. I don't know how you do that. It's cylindrical. It's spherical. I don't know how you do that, but I don't know. This is cool because it's a box, so you can make that work. And I would not have thought to do it that way. The only thing I've seen that's cooler than this, as far as a full series box set release, is Vince has recommended this before, the Real Ghostbusters Firehouse box. That thing's kind of cooler than this even.
Yeah, how many discs in total are in that van, by the way? Do you know off the top of your head, or?
I'm not sure, because it doesn't look like I've got them quite in order.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. For season 8, it goes to disc 21, but I know this was in 10 seasons. Unless this is not the complete... No, it's supposed to be all of it. I think the discs are somewhat out of order, Dan, for some...
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it goes to disc 23.
Oh, okay, cool.
But season 10 only had like 8 or 9 episodes in it, so the last few seasons are like one disc apiece. Yeah. The only complaint I have about it at all, and this is not that big of a deal, really the only complaint I have about this thing is that the booklet that lists all the episodes, there's nowhere to put it. Like, it's just...
Oh, weird.
You can't, I've tried to put it inside this thing, and it's awkward, and you can't really put it in there. So what I've done is I kept part of the packaging, so I nestled this in here, and then I put that underneath it so I can keep it, because otherwise I don't know what to do with it. That's the one thing I don't like about it. So this is hard to put on, although it's nice to have that anyway, because these wheels actually move.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but it's really impractical.
Yeah, that's true. Especially since it's supposed to be a display piece.
But yeah, it's fun, and it was a really neat way to do that, because one of the most iconic things about that show was this van, and one of the most sought after toys, and I would imagine one of the things that a lot of us from when we were kids are nostalgic for is just the design of that van. I bet they sold a lot more of those just because they did it that way.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
I bet there's people that wouldn't...
I want one. How much are those?
Let me go ahead and look it up real quick, because I meant to do that, and I'm not sure what they are now. I think I bought mine on sale at the time for like $65. I mean, I got a really good deal on it.
I'm not surprised. Like DVD stuff like that goes on sale all the time. So
and that was like a Cyber Monday thing.
Oh, okay, cool.
I don't usually do this, but let me just look this up real quick. Anyone can be doing this right now, probably faster than me. Oh, Dan, stop that. It looks like Amazon's got it for $60 right now,
nice.
Which is awesome. Wow, geez, that is quite the deal. That's quite a deal.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy that at some point.
It's the price of a new video game. That's wild, Dan.
Yeah, because I haven't watched that series in ages, and that was one of my favorite things as a kid. I want to revisit it at some point. I'm sure it won't hold up at all, but it'll still be fun to watch through.
Yeah, just keep that in mind going in. Because
yeah, definitely. And, like,
otherwise you'll be sorely disappointed.
You know, and I love rewatching, like, the old Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda cartoons, which are awful, but I just watch them for the nostalgia factor and the fact that they're just, I don't know, they're just kind of fun to watch.
That's why I go back to Power Rangers.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, like, you know, you hand this to somebody that's in their 30s now, and they're not going to keep watching it.
yeah. No,
you know, and you hand Power Rangers to somebody in their 30s, and it's incomprehensible, so...
Well, I do have a question about those DVDs. You probably haven't watched through the whole thing yet, I would imagine. But did they do anything to clean up any of the animation? Like, you know, there'd be times where someone would be colored wrong, or the wrong person's mouth would be talking, or is it just with all errors included? I kind of would prefer that.
I can speak from experience that I noticed some goofy ones early on. They kept everything as far as I know.
Okay,
it sure
awesome.
felt like it while I was going back through some of it. I started a project about a year ago where I was going to watch through the whole thing so that I could do a top 10, and I haven't gotten back to that. But I'm afraid when I do it that project is going to be as lengthy as the 60s Batman project was, because I want to do more top 10s than just episodes, Dan, because I found there was just some funny things I found. Like, I kind of want to do like a top 10 most outlandish moments from that show, and like there's this scene in an early episode where April has where there's a line about April like dating all of the turtles, like, not that that's like actually happening, but that there's, anyway, it's hilarious. There's a scene with like Krang in his bodysuit in a shower. I mean, there's some funny stuff.
That's awesome.
But anyway, well, everybody, thanks so much for watching us recommend stuff, and we'll be back to recommend more stuff for you next week. I'm Captain Logan,
and I'm Dan,
and here's what we recommended, and we'll see you again next time.